Watching YouTube, and welcome to another short review. It's Milwaukee Kid again, and if you've seen the review of the 90-degree impact wrench or the 90-degree ratchet, you'll know that I'm quite impressed, well beyond impressed, with this manufacturer. It's quality kit, no two ways about it, and yeah, you pay a bit for it, but in my opinion, and bearing in mind I'm an amateur, no way professional, my opinion, yeah, it's worth the money it produces. It's as simple as that. Well, the impact wrench and the ratchet came my way not too long ago, and I've had another fairly good month work wise, and my poor long suffering debit card's taken another battering, as you can see. I do have an electric impact wrench, but it's proper old. It's from Sealy, and the technology, well, that one's it's got to be over 20-year-old now, quite easily. The technology with these has come on leaps and bounds in every respect. Manufacturing, the batteries, the motors. The things now, they're way more powerful, and they're smaller, and they're lighter. It ticks a lot of boxes for me. Anyway, I thought I'd buy myself one of these and update. This is the 1/2-inch version, and it's the high torque rating one. And the reason for that, you can always go gently with a high powered tool, but if you've got a lower powered tool, sometimes you just can't turn them up enough. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at what's in this nice plastic box. And as you can see, tool, battery, charger. This came as a kit, because it's a little bit advantageous to buy it as a kit rather than the individual parts themselves. So I've got the impact wrench itself. This one's come with a 5 Ah battery, and I'll have to see how I get on with that. It might need to be updated with something a little bit bigger, we'll see. And it also comes with a charger. Now this is on the M18 system, 18 volts if you like. The 90-degree wrench and the ratchet that I've reviewed fairly recently, those are both on the M12 system, and the M12 charger that I've got will not charge M18 batteries. And that's one of the reasons I've got the kit, because this charger, as you can see, there's 2 sockets on it. One for the M12 system and one for the M18. Right, so let's have a look, or a closer look if you like, at the constituent parts of this impact wrench. I'm going to start with the battery. I grew up with NiCads as rechargeable technologies, and eventually they were surpassed by nickel metal hydrides, and here we are a few decades later, and it's all lithium technology now. And this is a 5 Ah battery pack, 18 volts, and that's a lot of electricity in a small space, believe me. And I can't show you on the camera, but I can tell you this is proper light. It's not heavy. Very impressive. And one of the details that's caught my eye, and I'm going to try and show you, if you look at the connectors, I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but they're twin connections for each of the actual connectors, and as we'll see in a minute, I'll show you the connector in the actual gun side of it itself. I actually grip the spade terminal rather than just one side pressing up against it. Better design in my book. These will charge in a bit over an hour with the charger I've got, and I've mentioned this before, none of the current battery technologies enjoy being charged at super high rates. It's detrimental to the cells, and it shortens their lifespan, simple as that. The M18 system, the capacities even vary considerably. up to, I think it's 12 amp hour. Now obviously at that size the packs are larger and they're heavier, and no doubt there's super heavy duty sort of reasons why you'd want to use something that size, but for me I think this will suffice quite happily. I'm not a professional when I do things on a car. I do it at my own pace, and if I have to stop halfway through the day to put something on charge for now, it's not a big deal. Obviously if I was in a workshop or a professional environment as an employee, time is money and all the rest of it, and in that sort of situation possibly, and I say possibly, there's an argument to have 3 batteries, one in the wrench, one on charge and one as a spare, and as soon as one's done you've got a fresh one ready to go and a backup fresh one that's charging. It's just an opinion, nothing more. So that's the battery. Yeah, and like the other M12 kits, it has the 4 LED light, and you can check the battery's capacity, and we'll try it and see what happens. I don't know if it's going to do anything because it's not plugged into the gun. Hey presto, it does. So you can check your battery freestanding, and that's fully charged because I've already used this. I've already had a trial play with it. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff, solid case. You're not going to be able to drop this on a hard floor forever and not have it break, but you'll get away with it a few times, I reckon. Yeah, quality. Right, so a few words about the charge that's come with the kit. As you can see, it's a dual station unit. M12 system this side and the M18 over here. I think it's sequential, so I don't think it will charge 2 batteries at the same time, but if you've got 2 connected, it will charge them individually without any further intervention on anybody's part. For me, this will suit my needs, you know, forever, you know, as long as it don't go wrong. But I get the fact that in a sort of professional work environment a bit more may be needed. Milwaukee have thought of that. There are other chargers, there are quick chargers, there are multi-station chargers, there's even one that will run off 12 volts, so you don't even have to be next to a mains outlet to get things charged. Charging lights at the top, all very standard sort of kit, and yeah, it will do you the ticket for charging. And here we are, this is the wrench itself, this is the business end of things, and I'm showing you this because this is the connection that I mentioned in relation to the battery. So there's 4 spade terminals in there, and the battery side's been properly done. There's a 2-prong connector which grips each of those terminals, so you've got a reliable contact. It's good design in my opinion, and yeah, it may cost a bit more, but it's worth doing. Looking at the rest of the gun, that's the top end. This is certainly weighty, and I've mentioned this before, reassuringly heavy, I think is a phrase I've used in the past. And the front end of this, the business end, this is metal. Further back, yeah, it's plastic, but it's good solid plastic. There's no giving it, and already I'm feeling confident about using this, and that's something I like to see in a tool. If something's worrying me out the box, it's not good, but that is certainly not the case with this at all. Like the 90-degree impact wrench that I've already got, there's a 3-position switch. The middle position locks it off so it can't run if something nudges the switch or the trigger, so to speak, and then you've got forward and reverse. Simple stuff. Show you the back, because that there's an important word, brushless. and this refers to the motors that are in the Milwaukee tools. Back in the old days, motors were brushed. You had brushes that wore, armatures that wore, particularly on motors that were delivering significant performance, and significant performance basically equates a significant current. That's one of the reasons they wear. But brushless, no, don't do that. It's done differently, and the upshot is that the motors are more powerful, and because there are no brushes, they last longer. Again, this is intelligent design, things move on, and no doubt if I'm holding one of these in another 20 years time, the motor would be different still, probably more powerful, probably smaller, probably lighter. At the front end we've got the drive. Again, you've got several options available, 3/8 and 1/2 inch. I think they may do a 1/4 as well, I'm not certain. But for me, a 1/2 inch will be more useful, basically because I've got more fittings that have a 1/2 inch hole in the end of them. So if I've got a 3/8 inch drive, I'd have to be messing around with an adapter, and that's not the end of the world by any means, but this just seemed a simple solution. So what do I think of this? So far, yeah, absolute cracking bit of kit. And in a short while we'll top the battery up, and it's not raining at the moment at home, and if it stays that way we'll go and see how it deals with wheel nuts and such like. Be back with you shortly. Okay, moving on, let's show you a bit more about this. The battery just does that. Piece of cake. And as you can see, as with the other tools, there is an LED light, and somebody's taken the trouble to think about this a little bit, and that light is angled up towards the socket and where you're working, just where you want illuminated, not a random bit of the car in front of the battery. Now, like the 90-degree impact wrench, there's a little selector, and it's done a little bit differently on this one. The only very minor gripe I had with the 90-degree one is that the lights are difficult, if not impossible, to see outside, even on a sort of overcast day. But this, if I hit the little selector switch, I don't know if you can see that so well, but the light's certainly bigger, and I reckon I'm not going to have any trouble at all seeing that outside. So what does it do? Well, the first three are, if you like, speed settings, and that basically translating how much torque this thing's going to pump out. And the spec for this is in excess of 1300 Newton meters, which is absolutely insane. So you've got a bit of control over that, if you like, light duty, medium duty, heavy duty. And the fourth one is properly clever, and I'll try and show you that a little bit later on. It's the same setting as 3, but the speed of the motor is monitored, and when it detects that the nut or whatever fastener you're trying to get undone has come loose, it will back the speed of the motor off, and that avoids a situation where the nut or whatever gets flung by the socket off into the distance, and you then spend time trying to find it. I've been there, I expect a lot of you have been there too, and it can be a monster pain, especially if you haven't got something with the same thread on that you can use as a sort of interim. So yeah, good design, and like the other Milwaukee stuff, I'm liking this already. I really am. Yeah, happy bunny in London, believe me. I'm going to give this battery a charge, and then we'll have a look and see what it's like with some car wheel nuts, which is really the only practical demonstration I can do with this at the moment. Alright, back with you in a bit. Okay folks, so it's all very well me wittering away indoors about this, that and the other and how good it feels, but the acid test with things like this is what it actually does. So, quick demo for you. Astra wheel nuts. So I'm just going to make sure that these are they're pretty tight. Okay, so this is on setting 2 of 4. And watch this. Now I reckon that's pretty effortless. Maybe you agree. Let's try another one. Just like that. And we'll have a third one. Yeah, pretty good in my book. And then to nip them up, flip the switch. Job done. Now the other thing I'm going to show you is the retaining nuts for the drive shafts, because they're done up pretty tight as well. Just need a bigger socket. I think from memory on these are 32s. Okay. Again, this is setting 2. All I've done with this is a quick wire brush and a quick whiz round with some penetrating oil and see what happens. Easy. Almost effortless. And back on, it's just exactly the reverse. And that is hopefully a good taste of just how damn good this bit of kit is. It's a world away from the Sealy one I've had for a lot of years. And that's just technology coming on. Anyway, I'm going to pack this lot up before it rains again. You know, we might even have another storm. Okay, so some final thoughts about this impact wrench from Milwaukee. Am I impressed? Yeah, of course I am. Just getting it out of the box, it feels good. But the acid test with things like this is how they actually perform, and with a little experiment on the front of the Astra, it's effortless, and yeah, I'm well impressed with that. It's a world away from the old Sealy unit, and that's just advances in technology. This is more powerful and it's smaller, it's lighter, and in real terms it's cheaper. Would it suit everybody's budget? No, of course it wouldn't. At the end of the day, it is pricey, but in my opinion, for me, it is worth it. But I totally get the fact that a lot of people, you know, it would be outside their remit for a home workshop. Would this find itself being useful in a professional shop? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's way good enough. No two ways about it. Might have to have a sort of multi-battery system in there, maybe 3 batteries, one in the wrench, one on charge, one as a spare, that sort of thing. But for somebody like me, I'm never going to need to do anything like that. So, if you're in the market for a high output, fairly compact, quality impact wrench, this one is well worth looking at. I'm in the UK, there's several distributors over here, so as we're shopping online with anything, shop around, find yourselves a deal. That's it from me, thanks for watching.